Hello there, everyone. We're going to be talking about Kenobi today because the fifth episode just released now to date this episode.
Why are you dating us?
Well, we're
It
going
is
to have
topical.
to. That's the thing. That's the whole point
I
why
know.
we're talking about
I know.
Kenobi. Is to
It's
be
just funny.
topical. But yeah, so the fifth episode dropped yesterday. But since this is our first episode, we will actually be talking about episodes 1 through 4 and then 5.
Because we want our opinions heard.
Yes, we need to be heard, Jacob.
That's why we're doing this.
Speaking of,
We're
I
done
just
of-
realized we didn't introduce ourselves. That's Jacob, by the way,
I'm Jacob.
and I'm Will.
We just want our opinions heard.
Yes.
We're tired of talking to ourselves. We're making you guys listen to us now.
I am tired of listening to Jacob, so now you have to share that with me.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm trying to be, charming and funny.
So you just... Okay.
At the expense of
Understandable.
you. I didn't mean to.
Okay.
I didn't mean
it's
to do
okay.
that.
It's okay.
But yeah, so to familiarize ourselves with you, we know something of Star Wars.
I've seen Star Wars a couple times.
A couple, just a few.
Just a few.
I mean, it's not that big of a movie. I don't know if everyone knows about Star Wars. I don't know if
No.
we have to explain it.
No.
I'm just joking. But to actually prove my Star Wars cred today, I did bring along something.
Oh, no. What did you bring along?
I brought along a limited edition coin of episode 3, which, oh gosh, I should have looked this up before the episode. I think came out in 2005? That's not right.
It was... No. I think so.
It was 2005.
God.
I'm going to go to my phone real
Hold
quick.
on. I have a computer just for this reason.
I can't believe it. I brought that coin to prove my Star Wars cred, and then I
It
immediately...
literally says 2005 on it.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
What did
Because-
this come with? Did
Oh.
you just get it?
No, it came with a DVD that I got when I was
Of
a
Revenge of the Sith?
youngling. Yeah. I
So a
got...
ton of people probably have this.
Well, you don't need to devalue it like that right off the bat.
Hey, it does say limited edition.
That's the thing, is I don't know anyone else who has that.
I don't.
See?
I just got posters. That's it.
So, yeah, that came with the DVD to my knowledge. On one side, it is Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting on Mustafar.
Doesn't look like them.
Really? I mean, it is...
It looks very, very sketch.
If you squint and hold it at a distance, it looks like them. And then on the other side is Darth Vader. And it just says limited edition Star Wars
That
Episode
side looks
3.
cool.
Oh, okay. So you're a fan of that one.
Yeah, the other side looks a little silly.
Well, I thought it was cool. Anyway, so that's my Star Wars cred, which fortunately I got the year right because I was going to say 2003, but that just didn't feel right.
No. That's after Attack of the Clones, I'm pretty sure. I think Attack of the Clones was 2002.
Jeez, really?
Yeah. Phantom Menace was 98. No, 99.
See, that always screws with me because I thought that it was 97. For some reason, I always think
I think
Phantom
that's when they
Menace-
started filming.
And that's probably when it was announced.
Probably.
So that's
don't
why I
know.
always feel that way. So
We're really just messing it up with giving them our cred.
if they can keep track of our thoughts through that, I think you're with us for the whole episode. So that's good. But so we grew up during the prequels.
Yes.
I now look back at them fondly.
You hated them when you watched them?
No, when I watched them as a kid, I loved them. But then I went through like a...
You hate them phase because the internet told you to hate them?
Yeah, it's kind of like my black suit Spider-Man phase. I just kind of had a... I put the bangs over my eyes and I just said like, oh, I hate the prequels.
I always
They're
loved
not
them.
Star Wars.
I never got the hate.
You're a better man than me.
I mean, I got the hate because of the politics and stuff, but like, they were still fun. Good looking Star Wars.
I like them. Now they're almost... they feel almost the most Star Wars-y to me.
Sure.
Well, honey, okay.
I mean,
what's the most...
compared to what we're getting
now?
now.
Would you say it's more Star Wars-y now?
I mean, 1 through 6, coming from George Lucas's mind,
Right, straight from
obviously is the most Star Warsy.
Okay. If you had to say which one was the most Star Wars-y, which one would you say?
That's tough. Each one has its own thing.
Okay. I would say Revenge of the Sith, probably.
But like, New Hope literally starred. Look,
Yeah,
hold
but
on. This is getting off on a
we're
whole
going-
different tangent. We've seen the movie
Yes,
1 through
we've seen
6 a
them all.
lot. I've seen Clone Wars, Rebels.
I've started and stopped a lot of
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched any of Rebels.
Okay.
Going into the Disney era, I've seen all the mainline and side
Yeah.
movies,
Yes.
but I haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
I've seen the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
Luckily, that's all after Kenobi. So
Oh, right. So I was almost all cut
for
up.
this show, I guess because
The Clone Wars, is that still canon?
Clone Wars, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah. Then,
That was the only thing when Disney took over. Clone Wars was the only thing outside of the main 6 films that was considered canon.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Everything, like all the books and stuff, and games, all the extended stuff, they cut.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they were like, it's Legends now.
Right.
Basically, all I've seen all the canon stuff. Basically,
Okay. Well, I haven't, because it's just the Clone Wars and Rebels really are the 2 that I don't know if I'll ever get around to watching, just because they're cartoons. I can't bring myself to watch them.
okay. Look, you can get into it. Clone Wars, really good. Rebels, first season, it's hard to watch because it goes even more kiddish than because Clone Wars, Clone Wars, it started off like as a kid's show, but as the show grew, the audience also grew, so they did some darker stuff. Then it got canceled when Disney took over. Then they went and did Rebels, and then it went back to like being really meant for kids.
Right.
But I would say less. I mean, I've only watched Rebels once, unlike Clone Wars, but just like how Clone Wars went on, as it went on, it got better. There's some pretty cool stuff in Rebels.
Right. Did that ever get canceled? Or was it only the Clone
I don't know
Wars?
if it got canceled. They stopped after 4 seasons?
All I remember is it started on the Cartoon Network.
Clone Wars did.
Yeah. And
Rebels went to Disney XD because that's when Disney bought it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But then I remember that Disney put that Disney Plus original stamp on the Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Well, that's because they did season 7.
Yeah, but that was the last season, right?
Yeah.
I just remembered the other
Season
thing.
5 was the last Cartoon Network season.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Then season 6 was a weird, like, Netflix, like, they had some of these episodes done already, I'm pretty sure, or, like, mostly through. So they got permission. Like, Netflix bought the rights to finish the episodes and then put it on Netflix.
All right. So
Because this was before Disney Plus or anything.
Yeah.
So.
But then what reminded me of the Clone Wars was, this is the last thing for our Star Wars cred, and then we can start talking about the show, is I, as a kid, this was probably peak Star Wars fandom for me, was when I was watching do you remember the cartoon in the style of Samurai Jack?
Yes. Because it was the dude that did Samurai Jack.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was using a roundabout way of saying it.
I didn't know if you knew or not.
I knew. I just wouldn't say, hey, this reminds me of Samurai Jack a lot.
Dude.
Like, I didn't have that
Yeah.
taste aficionado level yet when I was 8.
Those were so cool when they were coming out.
Oh, I love them.
I mean, because I was a little kid, and Cartoon Network had the games on the website. You could play as Kid Fisto going through the water.
That episode actually single-handedly made Kid Fisto my favorite Jedi from, until I was...
I think so for me, too.
Oh, I love Kid Fisto. But you look at him in the movies, and I always was like, there's Kid Fisto. But he doesn't do anything.
No.
You
Just dies.
He dies. I think he gets...
Well, he pushes over C-3PO / battle droid.
Oh, in Attack of the Clones.
And then he smiles weirdly.
Well, he has human teeth, right? That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
Is that he's completely alien. He has tentacles and... Well, not tentacles.
Tell me an alien that doesn't have human teeth.
Plo Koon. Well, you don't get to see Plo Koon.
Yeah, because he's got a face mask. He's got 2 sets of human teeth under there.
Well, you're right. Kaidi Mundi's just a human with a big forehead.
He's Conehead.
Yeah. And Yoda has human teeth, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Really
See?
weird stuff.
Chewbacca, human teeth.
Oh my gosh. That is weird.
I think so.
Well, it
I don't
looks
know.
very human. I mean,
Yeah.
not familiar with the dental.
Wookiee anatomy.
Yeah. But anyway, so that covering the bases of every other Star Wars that came out before Kenobi, or trying to at least. Episode 1 came out. I think it was
Episode 1 and 2 came out
last
together
month in
May 25th.
25th.
No, 7th. I don't know. It
wanted
was
to
a
say
Friday.
27th. It was in May. It was in late May.
Yes,
It released 2 episodes.
at once.
Now, were you hyped going into the show?
I was, very hyped because I was seeing Ian McGregor and seeing Hayden Christian, just the whole promos of seeing them together, Hayden Christian and him together again. That got me. I was skeptical when they announced it, but I was very hyped when I started seeing the promos for it because I just love them together. And then, so I was very hyped.
I
You?
was actually hyped when they announced it, and then
I was just worried because of the sequel trilogy.
well, yeah. But if anything, that's kind of what made me hyped for it, is because it kind of felt like, oh, okay, they know what is actually the strengths of Star Wars.
I was happy, but I was just happy skeptical because I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to get hurt.
You've been fooled once too many.
Yes. I've gotten hyped for every sequel film and was only not let down by one of them.
Okay. Was that a teaser, or do you want to tell us which one didn't actually
it
let
was
you
Force
down?
Awakens that didn't let me down completely.
Okay. But the other 2 just let you
The
down.
other 2, I was completely hyped after seeing the trailers. Completely. Was falling head over heels for any type of content I could get before the movies came out. And then I saw them once in theaters.
Oh.
And I've only watched... Why are we talking about the sequel trilogies?
Well, no, because I just wanted to know where your hype, if you were hyped for Star Wars, if it
I
paid
was
off.
so hyped for all those movies. But then after Rise of Skywalker, after every Star Wars thing now, I'm a little skeptical going into it.
All right. And did the Disney Plus shows, did
Mandalorian helped it a little.
Okay.
I didn't hate Book of Boba Fett.
But you weren't let down by it.
I wasn't let down by it.
You didn't feel let down? Okay.
No.
So that's why, okay. Yeah, no, with Obi-Wan, I was really hyped because I was like, oh, yeah, I love Obi-Wan.
I was just more scared because it's Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
Scared that they're going to mess something up.
Well, that's the thing, and we'll get into that because there is a lot of kind of fast and loose with continuity. Okay. I feel at least.
Hold on, but the show's not done yet.
Well, it's okay.
It's always been... People always say, like, everything's loose with continuity or what's canon, what's not canon. Everything's like that nowadays.
Fair point.
Canon's canon until they want to change it.
But, so, yeah.
But it's stuff they're not doing canon correctly. It's not, like, huge stuff. It's not, like, changing Obi-Wan's... I don't know.
It's just always era. It's like they're always playing within the same 60-year time frame. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of easy to get time frame.
And with it being, I mean, I'm not trying to defend anybody, but like with it being as big as it is, it's kind of hard to keep track of every little thing. I don't know.
Yep, fair point.
I mean, it's their job. They should,
but things can fall through the cracks. So yeah, I was hyped going into the show, all the promo, seeing Hayden Christensen back. Great, which was a surprise to me because of my black suit Spider-Man phase. I thought I didn't really care for him, but he's actually great. And I've grown to really appreciate him, and I think he's one of the highlights of the show. We'll get into. We should just start. It released episodes 1 and 2 at the same time.
Yes, could have been 1 maybe.
I feel it should have been 1. Because I felt like nothing really happened in the first episode to really...
Well, I think they needed the first episode to set up... Because they're going this whole route where he's got Obi-Wan, he's got, like, PTSD.
Right.
Just trying to hide. So, like, you needed episode 1 to set up, like, what's going on.
But nothing...
Because if you don't, and they just kind of hop into it, it's just like...
I understand that, but it just feels like there wasn't much structure to like beginning, middle, of end to episode 1. It seems like episode 1 was just all kind of catching up with Obi-Wan and where he's
Well,
at right now.
it's been 10 years.
Yeah, but did they really use all that time so great? I mean, you just kind of saw him at the butcher shop, which is where he works now. And
I think they were trying to set up that his life is very routine.
It is very routine
because it's very bland. I don't hate it because of how they were setting it up. Like, he's in a routine. He's got to do this. He's trying to hide. He's just a plain old dude now. He's defeated.
But strangely enough, it didn't really match what I kind of imagined his time on Tatooine was before he met Luke, because he had his own little place. He had good real estate in New Hope, didn't he?
Well, yeah. Maybe we'll see him get it at the
end of episode 6.
Who knows?
He's going to sign the lease.
Maybe he's like, hey, I'm clear. I'm in the clear now.
I've been having my eye on that property for a while now.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to buy it. There's a lot of the Grand Inquisitor going on in the episode 1 too. Mm-hmm. That's one of the big things they mentioned too. And this is maybe our first time, especially in live action, seeing the Inquisitors.
Yes. In live action, yeah.
Right.
They've been in the video game.
Well, that's another thing is Jedi Fallen Order, which I think is canon. That's canon. That's really my only experience with the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and they were really big in Rebels.
Okay, Rebels. Now, I wanted to say, because the Grand Inquisitors I know is in Rebels.
Yes.
Now, the whole thing, are all Inquisitors former Jedi?
No.
Oh.
Some of them are, I mean, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm not the best Rebels aficionado / Inquisitor aficionado, but I believe Grand Inquisitor is one of the, he was one of those Jedi guards, in the temple that had, the yellow lightsabers.
Oh, okay.
I forget what they're called. Temple guards, something like that. So he was a Jedi. And already before, the Empire took over, he was kind of doubting the Jedi way, I think. I think that's his story.
And Darth Vader's in charge of all the Inquisitors, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he's kind of they're kind of like his dogs
and all
that he can send out.
All they do is extinguish any remnants of the Force?
Well, they're just trying to hunt Jedi.
That's their thing. That's their job.
Yeah. Again, not an expert.
Jedi in the first episode, found in the canteen, apparently is one of the directors of Uncut Gems.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I found that out through the internet. And then he found... Okay,
but some Inquisitors are just kids they found that are Force sensitive, that they just abducted.
Right.
So they weren't recruited, they were abducted.
Which is something we'll have to talk about in the teams or the rest of the episode. But something I noticed too... Well, I didn't notice this. Internet also discovered this to me. The Inquisitor with the weird hat, the fifth brother?
I think sixth brother.
Sixth brother.
Yeah.
One of the brothers. He is Han from the Fast and Furious.
Yes.
Which is a fan favorite of mine, which I didn't even recognize, and I still don't. I look for him beneath all that costume and makeup, and I still don't see that actor.
Yeah. Which, again, going back to the Grand Inquisitor, doesn't look anything like the Inquisitor. One of the problems that people have is that he looks nothing like he did in the cartoon. And because in Revenge of the Sith, we see one of his species.
Yeah.
And it's the long head, skinny long head, and the lines in it. We've seen it in Revenge of the Sith, so we know they can prosthetically do it.
Right.
But
they have done it before. You think that they could just do it again?
I don't get why they chose... They're putting him in makeup already. Just do it. I understand. I don't know why they didn't get the voice actor, because it's Jason Isaacs.
You're kidding me.
That voices him in Rebels.
Oh yeah. Well, Jason Isaacs is great.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, we can fact check later and put that in if it's wrong.
But it's a character that has a lot of makeup and stuff on. I don't get why they couldn't just do it, because you didn't recognize that it was that one dude.
Well, if I'm
being, he does a good job.
Oh right. Oh no. I think I knew that guy's name when I watched the first episode. I only know him because he was in a movie called Young Victoria.
Who that plays the Grand Inquisitor?
Yeah.
I can't remember it.
And I am blanking on his name entirely. But anyway, he is a good actor. He's great.
Yeah, no, like I don't hate that they changed actors or
Jason
nothing.
Isaacs would have been awesome.
Yeah, he's acted before. It's not like he's only a voice actor.
Something to that prosthetic point, too, is I was almost more intimidated by the guy who was asking Kenobi for help in episode 3 of the same species than the Grand Inquisitor. Grand Inquisitor is probably supposed to be super intimidating, but I just don't see that come across in the show with the physicality of him.
I don't know.
Okay, that's up for debate. That's just my opinion. But this whole thing is my opinion. And then, okay, so behind that, they're hunting Jedi.
Yeah.
They killed the director from Uncut Gems.
Yes.
Obi-Wan is still just doing his day-to-day in Tatooine.
Because he can't.
He's having some snarky conversations with Owen.
I do like that they brought him back too.
Oh, yeah. Joel Edgerton?
Yeah.
I was hyped when they got him back.
Um.
But yeah, he's just having conversations with Joel Edgerton, Owen. And he's really not doing much in the first episode. So much so they have to go to Alderaan, which I was actually surprised to see.
I was surprised they even were doing anything with Leia.
Exactly. That's what shocked me.
Which I don't mind.
Well, no.
That they didn't say nothing.
Well, see, here's another thing. Yeah, they kept it a complete secret because in all the trailers you saw him looking after Luke. And so I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be
Yeah,
Obi-Wan
they only
and Luke.
showed like Tatooine, the Grand Inquisitor Temple, and planning the second episode, Danu or whatever.
I can't remember the planet names. The planet names are so strange now. They
Yeah.
used to be so straightforward I could remember them.
But yeah, they showed nothing.
Yeah, so when they went to Alderaan and they revealed Leia was a part of the show, I was very surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Not much happens on Alderaan. Well, things happen.
She gets taken.
She gets taken by Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which was hilarious to see, and actually surprising how well he fit into the aesthetic of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I was shocked that I'm like, wow, Flea's not out of place in Star Wars. But yeah, she's being a kid on Alderaan. She gets taken. Bail Organa then sends a message to Obi-Wan.
Which makes sense.
Makes sense. And then Obi-Wan goes, I'm not going to do it. That was a terrible impression. I know we're being recorded, and that's probably why. But he just said, no, I'm not gonna save. I'm too busy with Luke and Tatooine.
Yeah.
And then he has to show up in person, Bail Organa, and then tells him to go save Leia. And that's the start of that's the entirety of episode 1. And that's the thing, is it just felt like nothing really it didn't necessitate it being its own episode. It didn't feel like there was enough. And that's why I think they released it alongside episode 2. Because if they just released episode 1, people would be like,
I did think it was weird.
It just didn't feel like an
Because
episode.
it's not because they released that they were pushing it back from Wednesday to Friday. But you get a second episode. I don't know why they did it. It's not like they pushed it back a month.
Right.
They pushed it back 2 days.
Oh, they did push it back. Now I
Yeah.
remember. That's why you thought it was 25th to 27th.
Yeah, it's one of those.
And
But
yeah, and then the second episode starts. They go to the.
we skipped over the
What?
introduction of Reva.
Oh my God! How did I?
I don't know, but
Well, because some could argue she's forgettable, but others can argue that she's not forgettable in a bad way, especially in the early episodes.
yeah,
I personally was not really a fan of Reva,
and
and
I didn't like her either to start with, but at the same time I was like, you got to look at it that there's going to be an arc, obviously, so I wasn't going to completely judge until the arc was done. Because, like, she did just come in, yelling.
Yeah, and she was an original character, so you have no she didn't have any backstory.
And why I think people don't like that is, like, because it's an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, so if someone else comes in, all of a sudden, new character, and just is very loud, they're like, who are you?
I think that might be the reason why I subconsciously forgot her, bringing her up when I was recapping the episode, because it is an Obi-Wan show, and I want to see it for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the thing, is whenever I feel like and I think they focus a little bit. I understand they're building a character, she's a new character, but with so many things happening in the first episode, it's like I almost want to know every one of the Inquisitors equally if they're going to be introducing them as a group. But then they really focus on Reva, and it's like, well, me being a casual fan, I'm like, I don't even know really who the Grand Inquisitor is.
I just think they didn't, because the other ones are in Rebels. I just think they don't want to tell their story when a story's already been told.
Right.
So they make their own character to be able to do whatever they want.
Right. And there's always, like, them being established characters, everyone else, they kind of have a finishing line. Like, you know how this story's going to end because...
And, like, I think the way they do the Grand Inquisitor and the brother, you're intrigued by them, and it makes you want to learn more about them. So maybe someone that wants to learn more goes watch Rebels.
That's a good point. But maybe. I'm just so vehement in my refusal to watch any of those cartoons because I don't know why. Actually, it seems like such a time commitment that I struggle with. So yeah, episode 2 starts. Leia's kidnapped.
Yes.
Obi-Wan goes to
that Coruscant looking planet.
It's
that's
Coruscant.
Not Coruscant.
It's Coruscant Light. And then, before that, he picks up his lightsaber in the desert.
That was a cool scene.
I like that scene.
Seeing him undig it.
It's paired up with Anakin.
Yep. Seeing that was cool, and they're all dusty because it's been years.
Right.
And it just... Well, wasn't that at the end of the first episode?
That's why, I had to go back real quick. We're going fast and loose, just like the show.
But yeah, second episode, to kind of get into the third episode too, I think they could have just done 2 and 3 as one episode. They could have gotten the same points.
Episodes 2 and 3 as one, you're saying?
Yeah, completely cut out the third episode. Do what you do in the third episode and the second episode.
Okay, because I'm trying to mentally recap this in my brain.
The second episode
is the Coruscant Light Planet. He has his lightsaber with him. The second Obi-Wan has his lightsaber, I want him to use it. I'm very impatient with that.
Yes, I understand, but he's still in incognito mode.
Yes, but this is why
you ignite a lightsaber.
I want to see the Jedi using his lightsaber. Well,
that's why I think they could have combined episode 2 and 3. Because in 2, all he does is save Leia and then run away from Reva.
Oh, the runaway. How did we not talk about the runaway?
Because I really don't care about it. People are so upset about Leia running through the forest and those people trying to get it.
You're right.
Just them trying to film it. Did you try to film a chase scene with a 10-year-old?
Well, then it should. Well, but that's the thing is at the end of all chase scenes, there's at the end of the kidnapping chase, she gets kidnapped. So it doesn't need to be much of a chase. You can just make it. You can literally just surprise her and have a 10-second rundown, capture her. You don't need a 2-minute chase scene.
I mean, it wasn't 2 minutes. I don't think so.
It's probably a minute, but it felt
long.
I mean, it
did feel silly.
It was great. I was laughing my head off, but that's not exactly why. That's not a good thing.
So then the second episode, all he does is save her.
You're right, and she runs away.
Him like going to save her was pretty cool, like breaking into the lab and sneaking in.
Yeah.
Like everything that with Ewan.
Yeah.
Great.
Perfect.
He's doing I'm sure he's doing exactly what he's being told, but I loved just watching him be on screen. But that whole episode, it was a long episode, and all it did was he save her. They have banter.
Yep.
I did like that scene where he's has to catch Leia with the Force.
Right.
Because she's falling when they're running away from Reva.
Yes.
And it's cool that you have to see him mentally unblock his safeguards that he put up to not use the Force to get noticed.
Right. I wasn't too big of a fan when I found out he was kind of disconnected with the Force because I thought he was a Jedi Master. This was completely. I mean, it was fine now because when he starts using the Force, he starts using it again. I mean, it's no problem. But yeah, starting out the show, I guess because they only showed. It's not like a Netflix streaming thing where they just put out all the episodes at once.
Yeah.
This one was oh man, no, I want to see him, be a Jedi and have the Force and all this stuff. And I guess the weekly delayed gratification
did not help for this show.
No, oh no,
because everyone is so tense about it wanting to be perfect.
Yes.
So if something does not go the way that people think, they're so upset, and all you hear about is them being upset.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And that happened for the first 3 episodes. 4 episodes. Well, episode 3 people
was that
were happy.
Oh right, yes. Episode 3 was the turning point.
Yeah,
so really all he does is save Leia in the second. He does meet Kumail Nanjiani.
But hold on. Yeah.
But
okay. So he meets him.
Right.
He sees that he's being a fake Jedi.
Right.
Getting people to this other planet. Which he's kind of doing a good thing, but he's also ripping them off in the process. So it is like he's doing a good thing, trying to get people away, but it's obviously a business for him. And then at the end of episode 2, Obi-Wan and Reva have a conflict.
Right.
And this is what I did. I literally at the end of the episode said I do not like that. Because she knows that Darth Vader's Anakin.
Right.
And it's the best kept secret in the Empire. How does she know? And why? Like, Vader would not let anyone know. Like, would kill them if they knew.
And, quickly, too. He's, like, shows no mercy.
Because he doesn't want anybody to know.
Right. That's
because he literally thinks Anakin's dead. Like, that's his mental thing.
I know. I wasn't that crazy about it either, and I'm pretty casual about it. But I didn't like the idea of her knowing. And
she seemingly killed the Grand Inquisitor.
Right.
So from going to killing the Grand Inquisitor and knowing that Vader's Anakin, I was like, what are they doing? I knew it wasn't going to be what we think it's going to be, but it was just, in the moment, I was like, what are they doing?
I think it was that 1-2 punch of her saying Anakin's, Darth Vader. You get to see...
Which they didn't need to do.
Well, I think the show starts out with like an Order 66 thing.
The flashback.
Yeah, and it's just a quick little, it's literally like maybe 40 seconds. So it's not that big of a deal. But then everyone's like, oh, okay, she was probably one of them.
Yeah.
And so all those theories started. But with her knowing Anakin's Darth Vader, and then Obi-Wan just kind of running away onto the cargo deck, she kills the Grand Inquisitor. We still have not seen like 2 lightsabers clash. And I thought that was a perfect moment for her and Grand Inquisitor.
To have like a little duel.
To have a fight. And then while they're fighting,
Obi-Wan runs away.
Yes.
But I think they wanted to have the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan connection. Like, they needed to have that.
Right. But just from a pure, caveman point of view, I'm like, I want to see 2 lightsabers.
You want to see a fight.
Yes, I want to see a fight.
With just not blasters. You want to see lightsabers.
Yeah. That's why, that was the selling point of the show, is that you wanted to see Jedi fight. And so I thought, oh man, there's 2 episodes we've seen tons of lightsabers ignite. Only 2, really, Ravas. But we haven't seen any fights yet.
Yeah.
And you've seen Obi-Wan use blasters, and you're like, okay, fine, but use the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because if you're shooting someone with a blaster, they're dead. You might as well just use a lightsaber, in my opinion. I mean,
he doesn't want to bring attention to himself. That's the whole thing of the first 2 episodes, especially when he's saving Leia.
But I get it if you're in like a crowd, but like if you're just shooting people with blasters, and it's like in episode 3, I'll bring that up.
You also got to think he hasn't used it in 10 years.
No, I'm not going to buy that. He was a Jedi master, okay?
But hold on, he shut himself away. Mm-mm. He hasn't done anything. Well, I mean, we haven't been with him for the past 10 years.
He's just been using the butcher job.
But he's
maybe a little.
He's a little out of shape.
I'm not gonna say he's gonna be a bad lightsaber fighter.
Yeah, so I think I also think he's just scared of using it. I think that's what they were also kind of going for. That he's just because the first 3 episodes he was like terrified. He was so on edge. Like he looks like somebody that's just PTSD.
Yeah.
And that's what they were going for, so I didn't mind it. Like, I wanted him to use his lightsaber, obviously, but I wasn't extremely upset when I didn't see it. But, and then you see Vader at the end of episode 2.
Oh, right, the eye reveal. I forgot about that. That was a great way to end it.
I loved.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the episode, was just at the very end.
I don't know, it was kind of cool seeing people actually high for the first time on spice and anything.
Fair point.
They talk about spice all the time, and you never see anyone high.
The melange.
Yeah, and then episode 3.
Oh yeah, episode 3 starts. They're on another planet that I can't remember the name.
Random planet.
They're disguised. They're under the disguise of farmers from another planet that I can't remember.
Cool scene. Them on the transport with the stormtroopers. The tension.
Right.
The suspense. Are they going to get caught? Cool scene.
It's just at this point, I'm waiting for the story to really kick in.
Yes.
Like I liked the whole. Him getting back into action was saving Leia. I like that. I'm like, oh, that's a nice part. But then he's going to get Leia back to Alderaan, and he's going to have to do his own adventure to get back to Tatooine.
Yeah, and then...
But the story has yet to kick in. They just go on to this truck driver, basically, for the Empire, who was Zach Braff, I think?
I don't know.
That was just a very weird fun fact that I figured out. I thought that was very strange that I had to mention it because it was so out of place. Freck. I can't believe I remember the character's name. Freck was the truck driver. They hop on in the back. Then he picks up these stormtroopers. They go to a little...
And before that, we see a little Hayden Christensen tease. with the like
the flat, yeah, the PTSD
like
Jedi robes.
mirage of him in the background. And at the time, I was like, "Is that the only time we're gonna see him like as Anakin?" I was like, "Are you joking me?" Like, if they brought him back, because he was in the Darth Vader suit,
Right. But you had to get pretty close to the screen too to be like, is that?
Yeah.
Because it was a pretty far off shot.
So you see that was cool. The whole scene with him on the truck.
Well, and then it just feels like a lot of filler because like he even blows his cover on the truck, and that's when you think, oh my god, this is when the fight's gonna break out.
It was cool. Like, it was fun to watch, but then like looking back, it's like they could have done this in the last episode.
It just seems like a lot of filler. I want the story to really kick in.
And they get in the fight.
Right.
It's a cool fight.
He blasts everyone.
Yes.
All the stormtroopers when he gets out of the truck.
Dude, the stormtrooper going through the laser.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was...
Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting them to show a stormtrooper cut in half.
Well, yeah, the violence wasn't that crazy in any of the other episodes. I mean, it wasn't even that crazy in that scene. I'm just surprised they showed a body being cut in half.
A whole body, not just a body part.
Okay, fair point. If you
not just a hand or a head,
torso from legs.
Okay,
just separation.
Star Wars is pretty gruesome.
Darth Maul.
Yeah, you're right. Star Wars should be rated R.
But so he blasts all of them. There are no survivors. He might as well just ignite that lightsaber gun and start doing some Jedi moves.
Again, I still think he's just scared to use it.
Scared to use the lightsaber?
Yes, I think at that they're just going for this PTSD. He literally just like, I just need to get Leia home so I can go back to my hermit life. Okay. That's all he wants.
I can respect that. No, but what? So then they take the laser system down, which I think they could have just gone around it. It was a very strange checkpoint. It was very small. I don't think it was that much of a barricade to literally just hop over it or even just go around it.
Yeah.
And then immediately they're picked up again by another Imperial escort.
But then gets saved by an undercover agent.
By a double agent, Tala.
Yeah.
I think her name is.
Yeah.
She goes to a town and they're like, hey, we can get you out of here.
Okay, and I like this part. Just setting up like this underground railroad. The path,
right?
They call it in here.
Oh, that's what the path is. Because that's one of my questions. Is they kept on mentioning the path.
Yeah, so that's the path. That. Is this where they get people that are, either Jedi, Force sensitive?
Just fugitives.
They have a Clone Wars Easter egg with Quinlan Voss. That's who Obi-Wan was talking about when they were in there. Like that, like this whole part of setting up the path. I feel like they could have done in the last episode with. What's his face's character?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, because I'm still confused on whether or not he's part of it actually, or he just knows about it and is getting people there.
I never even thought about that before you said that right now.
So. I'm still confused about that. But
So now that I mentioned, yeah, you're right. Now I understand why you thought that 2nd and 3 could have really
because they could have.
Because not a lot happened between the episodes. Of episodes 2
if
and
they
3.
just cut off the beginning of episode 3. Where he's in this new planet and they're trying to like get off it because they were told they could get off this planet by
Tala.
No, the dude from the last episode.
Oh, Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah,
Haja.
Why?
I hate that I know these names for some reason.
They could have just had him have a path there,
right?
Instead of having to do a whole nother episode to find the path. They could have had Reva face the Grand Inquisitor in the beginning of the episode. You set up the tension there, and then at the end of episode 3, so they're in this town, but they've been tracked, and then
Darth Vader shows up, and that's why everyone loves episode 3. That was the turning point.
Yes, that's the only reason why I think episode 3 is redeemable, because of the Darth Vader stuff. How they're doing Darth Vader in this, how he's just like so angry, just so like not caring as long as he gets Obi-Wan, is perfect. We've never seen Darth Vader like
have a vendetta.
Yeah, like I think I don't read the comics, but like I think you see it in the comics that they do. But to first like live action like Vader, where you see him like reckless,
filled with
powerful, filled with anger. Like in all the other like iterations that we see, he's like calm, calculating, but like he's scary, but like in the sense that he's like in control,
like a presence.
Yeah, like he's in control. He like just there, and you can't move him. In this one, it seems like he's just so angry that he's reckless, deadly. He literally snapped a kid's neck.
I was shocked when that happened. Choke.
That was so cool.
I couldn't believe it. I think I went, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
But no, when he walked into that village, and then like Obi-Wan was like, he didn't even want to
Scared.
go out. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna stay in here. I don't want to face this guy. Like, I mean, the build up to that was awesome.
Yes.
Obi-Wan just bolts and he's like, if he follows me, he follows me. Get Leia out of here. That's the only matter.
Yes.
So Tala and Leia go down a tunnel to go meet
Go
another
in the path
contact.
to get to the end.
And Obi-Wan goes off to distract Darth Vader, get him away from Leia. And he just keeps running away from him.
Which I thought looked very silly. And they could have done it a better way.
I'm
the
so
first
glad you said
time
that.
when he's like running in the desert part, and I don't remember if that's where he first ignites his lightsaber.
Right.
In that desert part. But the first time like Vader sneaks up on him and he just like because like no music is playing, because it's supposed to be like, where is he, like you're supposed to be tense. The first time Vader like reveals himself, Obi-Wan just looks at him. It's like from a comedy movie, I think. And he just beelines it out of there. Like, I get it, like he's not ready to face him.
Right.
But it just seems so silly.
You're 50 feet away from the guy, and he's staring right at you, and you go, I'm going to just keep walking.
And just the way they filmed, it was literally out of like a comedy movie where like the main like doofus gets in a situation that he just wants to get away from. So he's like, and then just runs. So I literally laughed out loud when that happened, because I just was silly.
Well, it was funny too, because then like 30 seconds pass, he sneaks up on him again.
Yeah.
But then they ignite lightsabers and fight. So it's like, well, okay.
And it seems like Vader has the upper hand.
Yeah.
And it was cool that how he like pushed him down and then lights the fire, and how they're doing it just makes sense, because he's like, he wants Obi-Wan to hurt like he does, because Obi-Wan did it to him, causes suffering and everything. So he's like, I want you to suffer. So like usually in movies when like the villain like plays with the hero, and then obviously the hero gets the upper hand because the villain played around instead of just finishing the job. When Vader does it, it makes sense.
Yeah.
He wants Obi-Wan to suffer, not to just die. He wants him to suffer.
And I know I'm going to feel like it's so ridiculous, because I've been saying I want to see a lightsaber fight. And it happens, and I don't want to sound like I'm just complaining about it. But the lightsabers seem different from other lightsabers we've seen in Star Wars. I don't know, maybe it's a lot like the sequel trilogy, but in the original Star Wars, they seem to have a different look about them.
Well, yeah. The prequels had a different look, and then it goes to the... Well, it was just technology differences.
That's the thing, is I know in the original,
I think they're making
rotoscoping. I don't know what they did in the original, but in this one, I know they have those, like they have actual lightsabers that light up now.
Yeah, they don't have just like metal rods like they did in the prequels.
That's what that was, yeah, because now you actually see the glow of it on the actors.
Yes.
Which...
they don't have to CGI in.
Right, but in a weird way, I almost prefer the look of it in other Star Wars.
I don't know, I think it looks cool. It's what it should look like.
No, but then I think it affects the exposures of the cameras, and there's
the
this
cool
weird
thing.
flickering
I think they're
effect.
doing the like effect, like when they clash lightsabers. I think you see like green, like how in the original trilogy when they would like, especially Episode 4. I remember this, like when Obi-Wan and Darth Vader clash, you see like a tint of green when the lightsabers hit, just because of how they did it back then. So I'm pretty sure they did it in this series where when the lightsabers clash, there's like green.
I'll try to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
If I look back.
So
on it.
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
I have a love-hate thing.
Disney makes good-looking Star Wars.
It's fine. I'll deal with it. It's just I think maybe I'm being blinded by the prequels or nostalgia in that case. So they fight. Then he throws Obi-Wan into a fire.
Yes.
In between them.
Yes.
Extinguishes the fire with his force, and then Stormtrooper comes. I remember it because this is what happens. Stormtroopers come to apprehend Obi-Wan. Tala shows up because of the tunnel scene, which is a logistical nightmare. I am not going to be talking about it because it's that much of a logistical nightmare. She shoots this thing, reignites the flames, and they just go, well, we can't get to him now.
I mean, Stormtroopers have always been useless.
Yeah, but Darth Vader was still there. He could have extinguished it immediately. And then they're like, well, we can't get to him. And they didn't set up a mile radius. I know it's Star Wars. I shouldn't be saying this. It doesn't make any sense. It's no problem.
But then the robot comes, gets him.
Right. So he's a little burned up. I love that robot, by the way. The loading.
Yeah.
That's
robots in Star Wars are cool.
I like that robot. I wasn't expecting to. I like that robot. And then
the fact that he's not a quippy talking robot,
can't
like
even talk.
Huh?
He can't even talk.
Yeah, which I like. You like the robot, and he's not some... Because, like,
No beeps and
in
boops.
the Han Solo movie and Rogue One, they did
Yeah.
quippy, funny robots, which I didn't hate. It's just I didn't want a third one. We got 2 of them really close together. This
just
is
need
a
silent
breath of fresh air. And
I
then,
can't believe we're calling them robots and not droids, so I
Droids.
apologize to everyone who's listening.
Oh, nuts.
Tala and the robot get
Save
him.
Obi-Wan, get rid of the
Reva.
ship. Reva gets Leia again and captured her again.
Oh, yeah, no, straight up captures her. Episode 4 starts. Obi-Wan's in the back to tank, recovering from his burns.
Yeah.
And then Reva takes Leia.
Reva.
What am I
I
saying?
think it's Reva. Not
Reva?
Reva. I don't know.
Well, if it is, I'm sorry. Reva takes Leia to possibly the worst sounding layer of all time. The Fortress Inquisitorius.
It's not the worst sounding
That sounds awful.
It looks cool, though.
Yeah, it looks great, but then you hear the name, you're like, what am I watching right now? The Fortress
It
Inquisitorius?
sounds Star Warsy.
No, I beg to differ. I think it sounds ridiculous.
No.
Well,
You're crazy.
Like, what other base? They didn't really name any other base in Star Wars. It was always like, the base on Yavin 4, the Rebel base, or the Death Star. This
okay.
is the Fortress Inquisitorius. I'm not letting that slide. That sounds ridiculous.
It's okay.
Anyway, that's on a water planet. I can't remember the water planet's name. And then she is interrogating Leia, which that made me laugh because Leia in the show is 10 years old.
Yeah.
And you should be able to intimidate a 10-year-old with relative
She's spunky.
ease. Now, I'm not saying I know what it's like to intimidate 10-year-olds. I have no idea what that's like. But I feel like it would be a very easy thing to do. If you had to scare a 10-year-old.
I think they're just trying to set her up that she's great.
Who? Reva?
Leia. No, Leia.
Leia, she's great. She's going to
Yeah.
be the leader of the rebellion and all that jazz. But she's 10. I mean, come on, she's 10.
I know.
And then, Reva just interrogates her. She does good cop, bad cop on her, but only with herself.
Yeah.
And that's hilarious to me because I've only ever seen that done one other time in the Pink Panther with Steve Martin. No joke. She does the same exact thing with Leia. She's just good cop, bad cop, gives up, is going to torture her. Obi-Wan not doing too much right now. And this is episode 4. And that's the thing. It's a weird thing. I think with something I need to say is that when I heard that it was going to be a 6-episode miniseries, I was like, oh, well, this is going to be a packed 6 episodes.
That's what when they announced it was only 6, I was like, man, I wanted like 8 or something.
Right. Because usually I would say like the average mini show is like 10, 12 episodes. I don't know if I'm...
I mean, yeah.
I might be talking... I don't know if I'm... But anyway, so when I heard this was 6, I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is concise. This is going to be 6 great episodes. And then so far...
4 wasn't bad.
But we're 4 into it. It kind of has a story. It's not that...
It just... I wish they just captured her and went straight to the fortress instead of having that in-between planet then. Because they have 2 capture stories.
Oh, right, the kidnap thing.
Yeah. They kidnap Leia and then she gets kidnapped again.
You're right.
And then Obi-Wan's got to go save her again. Different.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan goes
But
straight
it's still
to
a similar
the
feel.
Fortress Inquisitorius.
He's definitely more confident.
Yeah,
he has a cool scene where he cuts up a couple stormtroopers in the dark to save Leia.
2 things there. Well, this is... He's on some weird rebel kind of
that
planet.
The planet that the path leads to.
Oh, yeah. And then he's there and he's like, oh, well, we have to save Leia. And Ice Cube's kid
yes
is like, I'm not going to do that. And he goes, you don't know how important she is. And he goes, okay, fine, I'll do it. And so immediately Strange, I can't believe we're talking about episode 4 and we're not even going to be talking about Wade. The rebel hero Wade.
Oh my god. Well, we didn't get there yet.
We're talking about the scene right now because he goes, the Fortress Inquisitorius, that's suicide or something like that.
Yeah.
And can't be done. And Tala, they're all planning their thing. They go there, it's a water planet, and then it's kind of like the final level in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes.
Almost to a T. He goes into it with Tala's help, by the way. She has officer clearance.
Well, I think that's part of her double agent.
But, I mean, she really worked her way up the Empire to be a double agent.
Because she was part of the Empire.
Yeah, but an officer.
Yeah. But then,
officer.
yeah, and then became the double agent because she didn't like the Empire.
Right. And she just throws hands in this episode, by the way. Anyone,
Literally throws hands.
Yeah.
Smacks a stormtrooper in the face.
With a helmet on, but still not. I mean, she's got an arm on her. But so yeah, during that, they're like covers blown. Leia's being interrogated by Reva. Obi-Wan comes in when there's 2 stormtroopers guarding her. And this is the thing, is when you said he cuts up some, does he really? Because he almost swings at the guy.
Again, he hasn't used it that much.
Yeah, but it's a lightsaber. It should go through like butter. And that's what I was thinking of, because it really stood out to me when he hit the guy and it was like, it kind of went backwards. I think if you're going to be hitting someone with a lightsaber, they should use digital doubles, which is a thing now. I think that's why Jedis look so cool in the prequels, was because they were fighting battle droids.
Yeah, so they could cut them up.
Oh my gosh, they were just
I think
going
if they
through
were
them with
cutting
ease.
up, but I think if they were just cutting up stormtroopers, I don't think it would be rated.
Well, maybe it's a blinker, you miss
For
it, or
kids.
they kind of do it. I mean, they cut off a guy's arm in episode 4.
Yeah, but it was an alien.
Luke's hand gets cut off in episode 5.
Yeah, but you don't really see it.
Yeah, but I'm saying be smart about it, because Count Dooku literally gets decapitated in episode 3.
Yeah.
Darth Maul gets his torso separated from his legs. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And then, Stormtrooper armor, that Party City plastic, can just stop a lightsaber and
I just
right
think
off.
if they were to just start cutting up stormtroopers now, it would look weird. Because in the original trilogy, they don't do that.
Yeah. Well, the Stormtroopers were pretty ineffective in the original trilogy. You never really had to...
I know, it's just if you start doing it,
it sets a bad precedent.
it doesn't set a bad precedent because it's after the fact that the original trilogy was
Fair
filmed.
point. It would look weird. Okay, you got me there.
Just like how they have to make everything look like old technology again.
Do they?
Because in the prequel, everything looked like futuristic and clean, and then to match the feel of the original trilogy,
now I
they
know
got
what
to
you
make
mean.
it.
Yeah, sorry. I know what
I
you mean
mean,
now.
there's a reason why like resources are spread thin, and they're just reusing a ton of stuff.
That's always something I hear fans talk about. I never hear that in the movies themselves.
Well, no, they don't talk about it in the movies, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason
yeah,
why.
but I always hear fans say it, that, oh, well, resources are thin and all this stuff, and I like.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'll take your word for it. I really don't know much about it, but it sounds right. So then he saves Leia again off
Yes.
the planet.
Yes,
They're in a water hallway. He
that was cool.
cracks the glass, floods it out. Does Darth Vader show up in this one? He does
Yes.
show up in this episode.
At the end.
Yes, and it bothered me because it seems like he's so intimidating, and you're right. He's filled with anger. He's awesome, but then he just shows mercy. He shows mercy at the weirdest points.
But he walks in and just force chokes her
immediately.
She doesn't even get a sentence off.
He's lifting her off the ground, force choking her. And then I'm like, oh, they're gonna kill off Reva, episode 4. Like, she doesn't have any redemption. But then she just says, I put a tracker on the ship.
Well, I think he's very calculated. So he knows that because we know she put a tracker on with the little droid thing that we
Lola.
never talked about. Yeah.
LOLA.
That looks like Mickey Mouse ears.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, like in the before, like when you were watching the show and it goes through like all the robots and faces in the beginning of the show.
Droids. Sorry.
You see droids. You see that new robot and it looks like they have the flaps look like Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
ears.
Well,
Anyway.
I'm sorry. I have to reveal. I skip the intros when I can.
He's
so
smart
I
enough to
know that.
like think like, oh, I can use this still.
Okay, fair enough.
He's not like showing her
I just
mercy
thought
because
he was gonna go. I mean, he just seems to be very reckless.
no, he's
and
just
angry
smart and
all
he
that.
wants Obi-Wan, so he's like, well, if there's a tracker, I need to use her.
Right, so she tracked him. They're all very blue because when he was escaping with Leia,
What's his face?
wait,
What's his face, God?
wait,
Hey, he
How dare
sacrificed himself.
the hero of the rebellion, without whom
Dude, I'm getting
none of Star Wars would be made.
I'm getting so sick of them trying to make background characters seem very important.
Dude, you feel that death. They go on that ship and they're just
Like
like,
in
what just happened?
The Last
Wade
Jedi,
just died.
when they're doing the bomb run, and that one girl, what's her face's sister?
Rose's sister.
Rose's sister. He's like kicking the control, making that seem like, oh my God.
The sacrifice.
I'm sorry, no one cares. You didn't give us an emotional connection to this character
You see Wade
before
once,
they died.
and if you don't even pay attention, you're just like, wait, who was that guy? He was a part of it? I mean, and they used those snow speeders from episode 5, yeah, on Hoth.
Yeah.
To do the Grand Inquisitors. They get off, but Wade dies. Wade does a weird like hover move.
Which like you can obviously have side characters die. Like they do it in episode 4 with all the like squad leaders and stuff like dying.
Right.
But they don't play like I mean, I guess it's because it was filmed a long time ago.
No. You've never had like
but they're emphasizing so much.
Yes. It's
tragedy.
Like yes, the sacrifice.
It's a background. Like yeah, it is. It's a sacrifice. Yeah, like you can make us feel that, but don't make it feel like it was like a main character dying.
That's the weird point. Like even if like he was a real big, like even if it was like Tala or whatever, and they were making it like, oh wow, she sacrificed herself for Obi-Wan. No,
that would make more sense.
It was Wade. You saw it was one line, and then that was it. So episode 4 starts off. Episode 4 ends with the tracker being in Lola. They're going off to yet another planet that I cannot remember the name of. And this is where we get to...
Well, okay, so...
Was there more
1 through 4.
Yeah, 1 through 4.
What did you think? Like...
You know, this is the thing about Obi-Wan is I can't say I'm enjoying it. I can say that I'm...
After 4.
Yeah, after 4. I'm not like... Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. I don't...
Are you disappointed?
Yes, because I thought, like I said, when it being 6 episodes, I thought it was going to be a very, like, concise
jam-packed.
Oh, where it's like every episode was very well structured and very thought out. They're dealing with Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is a well-loved character. And so I'm like, okay, this is going to be this is going to hit all the marks. It's going to be a checklist of things. And it just seems like there's like a vague kind of plot going on. There's not much of a reason to be telling the story of Obi-Wan between episodes.
Seems like a cash
movies.
grab.
Yeah, I mean, Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, I thought there was going to be a lot more.
Doesn't seem like it's doing anything to push
the
main
Well, I'm surprised.
Story.
What really surprised me was how much Leia's involved. I thought Leia was going to be like a catalyst to get Obi-Wan out there and into the eyes of the Empire. And then
she would be done after the second episode.
Yeah.
They did her. It was cool. But now Obi-Wan's on the run again.
Exactly. I thought
that's how from the trailers I thought like something was going to happen. He was going to have to leave Tatooine because he was about to get found, and then it was just going to be him like trying to get away, and then he was going to fight Vader a couple times. At this point in episode 1 through 4, I thought Vader was going to be a way bigger thing.
Yes.
Especially with how they were like having Hayden Christensen on the promotion tour and everything. I just thought, I know they only like teased him in the trailers, like not showing. I just thought they didn't want to show everything. So at this point, I thought we would see a lot more Vader.
I was
happy with the Vader that we saw. Well, like the points that we saw.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Like whenever Vader's on screen in the show, it's the highlight of the show.
Yes.
I mean, it is the coolest part of the show, and that's the annoyance. Is like, it's the sparing use of him is kind of strange to me, because him and Obi-Wan are the selling points of the show. I understand you can't have so many scenes between the two, but you have so many scenes with the Inquisitors or with the Empire, and it's like you maybe show what Vader's doing right now, trying to track down Kenobi. Because look, okay, so 4 episodes in, I'm not crazy about it. I'm surprised Leia's still in there. I thought Leia was going to be a catalyst, get out of there. Because it seemed from episode 4, or the original trilogy, that she had a very sparing relationship with Obi-Wan. Like, she didn't know too much about him.
It just seemed like
it's almost
she knew
through her dad. It was like, hey, you served with my dad in the Clone Wars. Like, that's how she knows him.
Yes.
So I thought it was going to be very sparingly. Like, it's easy for her to forget who that is.
Kind of justify being like, well, it happened when she was a kid, and it's been so many years, so maybe she doesn't quite. But it also seems like a pretty traumatic time in her life, so it seems like she would remember. But it could be like she remembers him fondly. So
and that's the thing with the Fast and Loose, is it just felt like, wow, okay, she really had an experience with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, not just younger. Yeah,
because think about it. In episode 4, isn't she supposed to be like
19?
17?
No,
19?
19. 19.
So
Luke and Leia are twins.
Oh,
you know
what?
Yeah, spoilers,
dude. Why would you? Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know they were 19.
Yeah, 19. That's in New Hope.
Yeah, that's the thing. So this is literally 9 years after the fact.
Yes.
It's not like not a lot of time has passed.
And her and Luke grew up.
Yeah.
In 9 years, they grew up.
And then, oh gosh, what happens is, yeah. So I'm like, I'm not crazy about the show. It's something to watch like weekly. Like I knew every time, every week, I'm like, well, I'm going to see the next episode. I think it's because I know it's a 6-episode commitment or something.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I'll just watch to the end.
It doesn't take you so much out of it where you're like, I'm done.
No.
You're just like,
You're just like, oh
let's
man,
move along.
you could have done so much. And then another weird thing was, okay, so there's 6 episodes, but also the lengths of the episodes were pretty strange too. Is because, I mean, you have like
but that's all these Disney Plus shows now.
I know, but it's almost rare to see one go more than 30 minutes, or sorry, more than like 40. It seems like that's like
it's just like the first episode is always the longest one, I think.
Yeah.
And then they just dwindle down in size.
But that's a strange thing to me. It's just, I mean, I guess I wasn't expecting a more episodic thing, like, oh, okay, each episode's going to be its own structure, but I just felt like there was going to be a lot more plot to the show, because there just doesn't seem to be too much of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, going into 5, I didn't like have crazy expectations or anything. 4 was nice, but it was a lot of like Fallen Order kind of rehash.
I think if 4 was episode 3, cool.
Yeah.
If 1 and 2 and 3 were condensed down into just 2 episodes,
I think that's the thing.
just like how the Hobbit movie should have been 2 movies and not 3 movies. Yeah, I think everybody would have liked. So okay, I was not like extremely disappointed. I was just a little like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Like, I'm itching to watch the next episode, but where are we going? And then, well, how are we doing on time?
I just checked. We're an hour and 5 minutes in. So
All right,
it's probably going to be the
definitely
first one.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about episode 5 on its own.
Yeah.
Which is no problem to me.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, it's just that I finished my thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You were just expecting more? Because, yeah, it does definitely feel like there's not much going on.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
That's the big, probably problem of the show. In my opinion, it's just, it feels like so much filler and a lot could be condensed, like you said.
It's like I read that they were going to do it, that Kenobi was first pitched as a movie.
I heard that too.
So,
Which maybe
I think
this will be a good way to, I think, end
the episode.
No, end the 1 through 4, because I heard somewhere that they might be doing theater releases of the show and just show all the episodes back to back to back.
I mean, cool.
But it's like a 5-hour ordeal.
I don't know. If you cut out all the credits and stuff, I think it could go down to 3.5 hours.
That wouldn't shock me now that you
But
actually say that.
This episode, I think Kenobi should have been a movie.
Kenobi should have been a movie, I think.
I think it would have done way better.
I mean, it just...
Pacing, everything would have been way better.
And I think, like, if you're creatively forced to kind of cut the fat on a lot of things,
Yeah.
it would just flow a lot better. I think that's almost the thing with the shows, is that they're like, oh, we'll leave that in there. That's no problem. We need to pad the runtime.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of padding going on.
Yes.
So, so episode 4, are they just leave? Oh, yeah, that's the tracker. The tracker is how it ends.
That's how they end. Going back to the...
And that's another thing, is that the biggest, like, one of the thoughts I had going when I was watching the show was, I'm like, oh my God, we're 4 episodes in. Like, there's only 2 left.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, with every, like, Disney Plus show that I'm watching, it's just like, when you get towards the end, it's like, how are they going to end this?
Right. I mean, because it almost feels like it barely started because of all the filler and time wasting. It's like, there's only 2 episodes left. Like, I feel like you've been wasting my time.
And especially with a show like Kenobi, where you love this character and you're just like, this isn't how I thought it was going to go. Like, sure, I don't have the right to be like, it needs to be this way. Like, it's up to them to show us what they're going to do. But at the same time, after watching those 4 episodes, it's like, I saw some things that I were really cool to see, but there were some other things that this isn't what I expected.
Agree completely. So thanks for listening to the recap on episodes 1 through 4 of Kenobi.
And our opinions.
Thanks for sticking with us. We'll be recording our opinions on episode 5 very soon. So stick around for that one too.
Thanks.
Thanks.